Do you agree? Are you good with it? Yeah, here's a question. Are you good when it comes to compliments
Yes, very good. I
in
give lots of compliments. I
in
like giving compliments.
in long-term relationships?
Long-term relationships, friendships. I like showing love to people.
Okay.
Just like you. I'll be showing you love on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, sure.
Things going good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not
you being
good at. I'm
taller
really
in person.
Yeah.
Being
fuck
more
off.
attractive.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really bad with compliments. So I was just curious.
Wait, why are you bad with compliments is a good question.
I'm a big. No, I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I'm a big like action type person. And if somebody's doing like certain actions for me, that means a lot to me. And compliments mean almost nothing to me. As mean as that sounds, I don't mean
Fair. So you don't care about receiving them.
Not that much, no.
Okay.
Especially from certain people, I do, depending on what it's about. So, for instance, if I have like a really good performance in like a debate, and like Joe Rogan DMs me, he's like, "Bro, I saw that debate. That was an amazing performance. Good job." It's like,
Right, because
oh,
it's based off the work that you've done.
yeah, and it's a guy that respects the work. Right?
Fair, right.
But if my mom said it, I mean, like, okay, it's my mom. She doesn't understand. It's my.
But I'm serious when I say that. I am actually proud of you for the whole YouTube thing because after you got removed from Twitch, there's like a sort of genuine part of me that's like, yo, what's going to happen for this guy going forward? And to see you bounce back and to have a larger fan base and to do all these things, like, I actually think it's amazing how you've turned that shit around.
Yeah.
Now, when I say that, I really mean that. Maybe it doesn't mean anything for you.
No, I respect when you
Yeah.
compliment because I don't see you all the time or whatever. I appreciate that. That's
Good.
nice, yeah. But the one problem I have for compliments that's really bad for me is in relationships. I'm a really big. I like a lot of physical touch. So like I'm cuddling with my partner, okay, hugging them. When I wake up, I might give them a kiss. I might like call them a nickname or whatever, and then like leave. But then oftentimes the complaint I'll give my partner is that like I feel hideous to you. Like you never tell me I'm pretty. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I don't ever say that. But I try to express it in other ways. Yeah, of course, yeah. But it's hard for me to like verbalize it.
Okay.
Yeah. But then oftentimes when I wake up and they'll say like, oh, like you're so handsome today. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm fucking married to you or we're dating. Of course you think I'm handsome. Like I don't need to hear this from you, obviously. Like you don't think I'm fucking hideous.
Yeah.
That's like where my mind goes, I guess. I have a really hard time like complimenting people regularly because it doesn't mean as much to me unless it's like something sincere about a particular thing. And then I have a hard time saying it because like, well, obviously I think you're beautiful. Like you're.
Here's the thing: most of us think a lot of good things in our head about the people we care about and that we love. The reason why I started to learn how to verbalize it a lot is because I learned that for them to hear it meant a lot to them. I'm very
course, that's
similar to you.
absolutely true, yeah.
Right, and so for me, it cost me very little or nothing to say it, and it meant everything to them. So I just started to develop the habit over time, and that was a compromise I had to make in a previous relationship to learn to do that. And I realized like, oh, I actually like doing this, and I don't even like. It's not even just. I think we would all do well with being able to compliment the people around us a little bit more because at the end of the day, we think all these wonderful things. Why not let them know? Because we're constantly getting so much negative messaging from others or even ourselves in terms of self-doubt. Like, it's just an effort thing that you have to make and you can develop the habit.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good habit for everybody to develop too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's acceptable to say you're bad at it. This is something I'm trying to work at more in the future.
Especially like just being able to give compliments without expecting anything in return is also a really good skill for people to get.
Of course. I think in relationships, I think that's generally true. I don't think they're usually expecting something in return, but hopefully there's like a mutual back and forth.
Yeah. So I think it's a small effort people can make, but I think it goes a long way. So I would definitely tell them.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. That's a skill everybody should work on. I agree.
Yeah. I like telling my partner, like, if I'm thinking in my head and she walking by, she's not my girl, you look good in that outfit. Like, I'm really thinking it and I'm happy to say it because I'm like, why don't you keep it in my head? And if she's smiling, I'm like, oh, was very seamless to do. But I even do it with strangers too. Like, sometimes I'll see some people like, with a really fly outfit that like stood out to me and I'll be like, yo, I love your shirt. And that's it. I'll leave it after that. So I think we could all stand to compliment everybody around us. If we feel it, don't make it fake. That's the only thing. I hate it when it just sounds like brown nosing. That's why I actually don't like being around content creators. I was telling you, like, I feel like that's just generally the crowd of people where they're just like, oh my God, I love your hair. I'm like, oh, bitch, if you don't shut the fuck up with that shit. I hate that. Yeah. That is actually like, I would have rather you told me you were mute and you lost the ability to speak at 10 than you giving me fake compliments. I don't want to hear none of that shit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's like I would almost respect it more. I'd almost sign up for a program. If some agency emailed me like, hey, listen, our bot found your channel. Do you want to sign up for our shit? As opposed to the, hey, Stephen Bonnell _II. We really appreciate your content and we love the last video you did on ABBA freaks out at Destiny over blah, blah, blah. Do you want to work with her? And you're just like, motherfucker, I don't even know there's a real person. It's probably not, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think making an effort is always good in that regards. Was that some of the things that you were struggling with in the past?
Yeah, these are all things I've struggled with, and for some of these I'm like undecided, and some of these I'm like gravitating in one direction or the other. So
yeah, it's gonna feel uncomfortable at first, especially when you start doing it like more regularly. But after a while, it's just gonna because you're already somebody who speaks their mind pretty often. Like if you're thinking something, like you're pretty good at expressing yourself without worry of like.
Yeah, it's not an issue of speaking my mind. It's an issue of like here's the thing I don't know. Sometimes there are ways that I prefer to communicate, and I don't know if I should be looking for somebody that communicates a similar or the same way, or if I should just change some of the ways that I communicate. So, like for instance, when I get, I hate when I have this conversation because then I get a bunch of people to message me like, oh my God, I do this. Do you hate me? Like, okay, so I don't hate anybody who does, okay? But like, if I did a performance and somebody messaged me, like a friend of mine messaged me, and they were like, hey, when you did this thing here, I think it would have been better if you said this or that. I appreciate that type of feedback 1,000,000%. And that's usually the type of feedback that I give. But then people that are close to me or around me will say things like, Steven, I feel like you hate every thing I do. And I'm like, what do you mean? I think you do a lot of mixed things. Like, every time you talk to me about anything I do, all you have is fucking negative things to say. All you have is fucking criticism. Yeah, and that's the thing that gets, I actually thought about this a lot in the last, like, there was a debate I did recently with a few people. Actually, I think I was even thinking of Kyla, where there was something I wanted to say in terms of like a way she did an argument, and I had to think like specifically, okay, hold on. She did a good job, and I should say a few good things first, because otherwise it sounds like I just have a negative opinion about this thing. But for me, I don't want to hear like, you did a great job in the debate. I don't care. I know I did a great job. I don't need you to tell me. But if somebody has criticism for me, like the Whiplash movie, like tell me like you suck. Like, yeah, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know if I should look for people that like think that way, or if I should just like change my mode of like communication.
Here's why what you're doing is 100% untenable. You're also an employer. You cannot keep company morale or employee morale if the only time you have reproach to say this stuff is when they're doing things badly. They need, because like,
well, I agree with you on this. I don't care about this. I'm thinking about relationships is my issue. Yeah, relationships and friendships. I do agree for the employee-employee thing.
But I think everything works in that sense. Like human beings are just humans, whether you're your partner or whatever. Like generally, what their emotional needs are from the people that they care. Because even a work relationship is not just robotic. There is a personable aspect to it. So you have to treat a lot of these things kind of similar in terms of your approach and like the empathy that you have to come with it. So I'm very stern with the people who work for me when they do something bad, but I also make sure I go out of my way to show them love. Like, hey, man, you did a great job. And I know it means a lot to them because they, one, tell me, but two, I've been on the receiving end. When someone tells me I'm done great on my work, it helps me a lot. So you have to also understand that in a relationship, that's something that you have to do. And gratefulness goes so far because especially when you're seeing somebody for so long, you get in the habit of just doing things for each other and it becomes automatic. But just a little bit of that gratefulness kind of keeps those juices growing in terms of making you want to do it. So like maybe somebody's making food for you. Like, yo, take a second one time to be like, you did an amazing job with the food today. I appreciate it. Right? Because if you get so robotic, the stuff you used to do at the beginning in terms of showing each other love, because at the beginning when you're seeing somebody, right, you're probably more complimentary or a little bit more flirty in terms of everything that you're doing with. Whereas once you get into the relationship much further on, you stop doing that because everything's automatic. You just stop giving those compliments. You stop saying that stuff. Well, then the relationship loses a little bit of its luster because you're not showcasing that gratefulness for the things that you should be.
Yeah, I agree. And then people think the underlying emotions are gone if you're not like expressing it verbally like you used to. Yeah,
absolutely. Friendships, all of these things I feel like work similarly. So that's definitely something that I think is worth doing. And on the topic of like, should you find someone who has a similar communication style? Here's what I would say. How much out of you does it take for you to compliment people? And if you're being honest with yourself, it might be something you're uncomfortable doing right now, but I don't think you think it's the hardest, laborious thing for you to be able to develop in terms of skills. Is it? Would it kill you to learn to do that regularly?
Would it kill me? No. There's a lot of things that theoretically I can change. But like at this point when I'm 35, there are also things that I'm like really comfortable with and things that I'm not as comfortable with. There are a lot of things that I could change. I'm just not sure. Like one thing that's been really hard for me over the past couple years, especially is figuring out like how much should I want to change and how much should I just find somebody that is more like on my page. Like so for instance, one thing that I tried really hard to change for a long time was I need to be able to resolve conflicts immediately because it feels like every girl I'm with wants them to be resolved immediately. And it took me a long time to realize like, you know what, this is bullshit. I should be able to ask for space for 6 hours. It's not fair that I'm expected to take care of their feelings while I'm emotionally dysregulated and they're the ones with the problem with me. I think that's an unfair emotional burden to place on me. I should be able to find somebody that can do this and be okay with this. But then for the compliment thing, I'm thinking like, it's hard for me to remember to give compliments every day. Maybe I could probably change his behavior, but like, obviously that's a lot less labor than the conflict resolution thing. Sure. So sometimes it's hard for me to draw like, what are the things that I should be changing versus
I'll give you a hot take.
Yeah, go for it.
I think you should change your conflict resolution style to be able to do things instantaneously if it led to better outcomes. The problem with trying to change your conflict resolution style is there's probably an underlying reason for why you need time to do that. And it's pretty unlikely that you can fix the reasons why. But if let's say you could, let's say there was a means by which you can snap a switch and now you can instantly start to resolve every issue on the spot. You should take it.
There is, yeah. But it took me too long to find it. I noticed this. I think I told this to chat before. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing or not, but once I started taking Vyvanse, when I had some fights, I felt like I was in the Matrix because there were things that I would say and then Melina would say, and I would see. So here's one fight we had. We were talking about something, and I was in a particularly good mood. Oh, I think it was my 3rd or 4th day on Adderall, and the euphoria had passed, but I still like my mood is like very elevated. I feel more regulated, like everything is cool. And I had said something like, oh, like I think I saw some video she did where it was like, oh, I love you, like good work on this, blah 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 blah. And for whatever reason, because Melinda does her own trial, she's like, oh, like I don't know why you say that. It doesn't feel like you love me sometimes, okay? And when I read that in my normal state of mind, okay, then the next message would have been, why the do you ever expect me to fucking compliment you? If you want to say nice things, they turn into fucking problems. This is why I don't say shit to you. You're fucking retarded. Don't ever expect me to say shit if you're going to turn into a problem. That's if I'm having like, if I see shit like this in my normal state of mind,
Wait.
yeah, that's my
I'm going to ask you like a little psych. Is that how you talk normally when you're?
Well, in that case, I wouldn't. But when I'm really mad, yeah, I get really, really bad. Yeah. We'll fight someday and we'll figure it out, okay? But it has to be a real fight, not like politics or relationship.
That's a wild way to talk to somebody.
No,
okay.
I get super mad. But on Vyvanse, okay, or I was on Adderall, when she said that,
okay,
I was like, you know what? I understand why you don't feel that way all the time. I'll try my best to like do a better job at this and blah, 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 blah. And after that, she was like, yeah, I'm really sorry that I said this, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was actually like a matrix moment. Like, holy shit, I saw through. Because ordinarily, yeah, when people start problems with me, I'm like, I have to disconnect and take like 6 hours because like my brain immediately
because you'll reply
goes
like you did.
Yeah, I'll become unhinged. I'm like, I'm like not happy right now. Yeah, we're gonna fight. This is
Okay.
Yeah. That's normally, but that's why now you see. No, when I fight, if I'm like in a bad mood and we're fighting over something, I think the other person is clearly in the wrong.
Yeah,
it's gonna get real ugly. Yeah, that's why I say like, give me like 6 hours, please, because if we fight with me in that mode, whatever fight we just had that was gonna be a 1 day fight, that's like now it's a 1 or 2 week fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.